Greetings everyone. Very excited to welcome you all to this important panel organized by the Humanitarian Activity Committee, focusing on delivering impactful member experience through collaboration with HAC. Today, this panel is more important and relevant given the pandemic situation because we need the best-in-class technology to address the grandest sustainable development challenges as well as emerging global challenges due to the pandemic situation. So today we have an eminent set of global leaders on the technological front from the IEEE societies, various IEEE societies who are actively partnering with HAC, and they are going to share their success story and their upcoming plans, how it is very important to collaborate for IEEE societies to strongly collaborate with HAC and so forth. So with that said, this is an important year for HAC and SITE because we are celebrating the 10th year of the SITE program, which reflects how important, to apply our technical skills in addressing the sustainable development challenges. With that said, I welcome you all to this panel. I am Sampath Veeraraghavan, the Global Chair for the 2021 Humanitarian Activity Committee. I will be serving as the moderator for this panel today. So the agenda for this panel today, we provided the welcome address already. We'll be providing you a short description about the journey of SITE in the last 10 years. And again, we'll be talking about the overall, larger vision, why we launched SITE Day last year. And most importantly, we will focus on how IEEE entities partnering with IEEE HAC and SITE is going to be a win-win model, not only for the partnering programs, but also more importantly, how we could collectively empower and serve our IEEE members. Then we will have a fun-filled and exciting panel, and each of the panelists will be specifically talking about, their collaborations with HAC, and as I said, and what kind of programs they are currently, planning or worked with HAC, and we'll be showing some example projects as well. And finally, we will have a Q&A session where we would like to engage with the audience, taking on a few critical questions from the audience today. So with that brief introduction and welcome address, let's look into the journey of the SITE in the last 10 years. SITE as a program, as you all know, it's one of the most important and most popular program offered by the Humanitarian Activity Committee. And the goal of Humanitarian Activity Committee, as you all know, is basically to provide a portfolio of global programs to inspire, connect, and engage IEEE members at grassroots level so they could deliver impactful programs in the sustainable development space. As you can see here, we have an amazing journey for SITE as a program. In 2011, the SITE was inaugurated. In 2012, it was operationalized, and in 2013, we rolled out the project funding program, and in 2016, we reached the 100 groups, and individual memberships across the world, and in 2019, we made some stellar progress. We kind of like doubled our, membership growth. We nearly reached our 10,000 milestone mark in terms of our global footprint on the membership front. And we launched important programs like SITE Week, SITE Fund, and what not more, SITE Awards. And in 2020, in spite of the pandemic, SITE delivered record-breaking growth. We reached close to 13,000 membership, milestone mark, and we closed out the year with 174 groups. And we also launched the SITE Day, which we are celebrating today as we speak. And most importantly, we rolled out a very successful joint COVID project program along with HAC, which received about 229 proposals from more than 30 plus countries, and we funded over 101 projects basically. And as I speak today, in 2021, HAC is already making great strides in terms of partnership. And two major milestones I would like to call out here is that we have set a new record in terms of global membership for SITE, which is about 16,500, more than 16,500 members. And we have about 178 groups, and our members are present in all 10 regions in 118 countries. And we also established a new record in our first call for proposal, which was launched this year. We received close to 156 proposals in the very first call. So within the first 100 days, we already are putting a lot of new benchmarking growth for SITE and HAC. So again, I'm really thankful to the IEEE Foundation for making SITE to be one of the donor-supported programs, and I thank our donors as well. So with that said, let's quickly go on to the next slide, where we talk about why we created the SITE Day. So the primary focus of SITE Day, which was launched last year, is to actually like provide a global platform to bring together IEEE SITE members to spotlight their amazing work, what they are doing at grassroots level, and also to celebrate the spirit of SITE volunteerism as a community. And secondly, to create strong public awareness in terms of how SITE as a program is empowering our members at grassroots level to bring in positive changes in the marginalized population. And lastly, but not the least, we also wanted to leverage this opportunity to create more funding opportunity to support the amazing work done by our volunteer. In our inaugural version, we had about 3,000 people participating, in the SITE Day event. This year, we had amazing success. We had a great inaugural session by IEEE President Kathy Land, and we also had great panels. And today, there's one important panel you're all attending. And we still have, the ongoing. We are collecting a lot of memory videos from our volunteers, and we have a SITE trivia challenge and many more, programs. So really, this is a celebration of the IEEE members, their contribution towards humanitarian activities program throughout the world. Next slide. So with that said, I'm going to now show you all what we have done in the first 100 years of our office in the HAC committee. Look here, the gamut of partnership we are working with. This year, we are strongly working with IEEE regions, IEEE societies, and also whatnot, other IEEE entities like MGA, EAB, standards, tech ethics, entrepreneurship program, you name it, and HKN, you name it, we wanted to collaborate it. So we want to empower our volunteer, and we wanted to make sure that you are successful in this journey of advancing technology for the benefit of humanity through the HSC programs. Next slide. So with that said, the last slide here is huge kudos to the IEEE society partners who are helping us. As I iterated in the beginning of my welcome address, the need of the hour is to bring together the best-in-class technology to address these grandest challenges faced both for the pandemic situation as well as in the sustainable development space. So the partnership with society and HAC is a win-win model, because at the individual level, it provides a positive experience for our members. They can now collaborate with more diversified, engineers locally in their regions and also with the local communities. At a section level, you are now providing more complementary avenues to attract, retain, and to accelerate engagement of your members. And at a regional level, it provides more strategic opportunities for societies to expand on their horizons in terms of partnership and make IEEE a world-class leader in the sustainable development space. You can see here, APS and EDS have already pledged, a considerable amount of money to jointly roll out project funding programs. So we are going to roll out joint project funding programs and educational programs and whatnot, more avenues to spotlight this amazing work. So really grateful to all the great, amazing collaboration efforts that's under progress, and thanks to the IEEE societies for believing in us and partnering with us. Next slide. So with that said, I welcome you all to this panel. A quick introduction here. So we have, Dr. Fernando, who is the past president of IEEE EDS, and we have Dr. Javed Siddiq, who is the APS site chair, and we have Dr. Josh Rayos, who is the site chair for MTT-S Society, and we have Ken Stauffer, who is the chair for the Entrepreneurship Committee. We have many amazing other partners who we are going to continue to spotlight the work in upcoming series of webinars. This is the beginning of that one. So we really wanted to acknowledge IEEE Photonic Society, SPS. There are many more, PES, ISV. There are many more people who are engaging with us right now. But this is the beginning of, I would say the partnership spotlight program. So with that said, I welcome you all to this amazing panel. Let's look forward to hear from the world leaders from the technology front, from each society, what they are doing along with HAC. With that said, I welcome Dr. Fernando to provide his presentation on the collaboration of IEEE EDS Society with HAC.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sampath, and thanks to Juliana for her leadership in making this panel possible. So as you can see, our mantra for EDS is to promote excellence in the field of electron devices for the benefit of humanity. So if we go along to the next, we do work very hard to try to live it up to that. So one of our key, the mission we have is to foster professional growth of our members. And we do this through publishing, education, technical recognition, but if you click the next, you can see that all of these areas have, if you click one more, you can see that they're all linked to humanitarian activities. And we've really put focus on that. We created a chair for humanitarian activities a couple of years ago within the society, a position that I proudly serve as. So if you could advance. Then, as you can see, we have a vast footprint throughout the world, lots of chapters, a lot of activities. We're close to 10,000 members, and that's pretty much the level we've been for the past few years. So if we advance to the next one, you will see now some of the projects. So every year through IEEE rules, we can set aside 50% of the surplus that we have from year to year. And as you can see, we really started leveraging this back in 2019. And you can just see some of the projects that we have been funding. And on the left-hand side, actually, 2018 to spend in 2019. It's always a year delayed. And on the right-hand side, you can see so the 2019 to be spent in 2020. So you can actually see the totals of the funded projects. We started with 83,000, went to 245,000. And if we go to the next slide, you can just see that this commitment continues to increase. So this year we're funding $409,941 in projects, so total almost 740,000 in these projects, which are mostly humanitarian projects. If we go to the next slide, you can see that we also have another pocket for funding, which is at 3% of our reserves. So we've also been leveraging this. Since you can see this is what we spent in 2020, and if we go to the next slide, you'll see what we put for this from last year to spend in 2021. So a total of 100 and 30,000. So if you look at the amounts, we've spent over $255,000 from this 3% funds. And if you click once again, you'll see that over the last years, we've spent close to $1 million funding projects. And if last year we did provide 25,000 for joint funding of projects with site, and we also are funding individual projects that have been completed thanks to a partnership with the site. So if we go to the next slide, you will be able to see, some of the actual pictures worth 1,000 words. So this is a recently completed project in Nicaragua. That if we go to the next slide, it's the type of projects that we love. It's we did 10,000 each EDS and site, and we created an irrigation system and a community shelter with solar panels, and we used electronic microcontrollers to make it smart irrigation and control the water pumps. So if you go to the next slide, you can see the impact of this. So directly impacted 50 families in the La Paz, Nicaragua, improving agriculture and sustainability. It created jobs for at least 15 local workers, and we are harvesting fruit in 7 acres. So that's the initial, and we hope to replicate this. I'd like to mention that with the climate changes and all the different challenges that we're facing in the world, this becomes ever more important. A lot of these communities depended on melting water from glaciers, snow-capped mountains that have dried up, so they have no access to water. And you see that actually, this is one of the reasons for the large migration to the U.S. because crops have been failing, and the communities they need to continue to have sustainability for their existence. So projects such as this really, have a big impact on the world. So this, I just showcased one of these projects. So if we go to the next one, I just like to reinstate the commitment we have. We do outreach activities to train children to learn about circuits. And if we go to the next one, through these projects, we've had a lot of penetration into the Latin America. If you saw, it was one of the regions with not the largest population of IEEE members, but yet is the one where these programs are the most popular, followed by Region 10 and in the U.S. region. If we go to the next slide, and this is something we're very proud of, is we've reached almost 15,429 children, and they're equally distributed in boys and girls. And this is what we want to continue through university education. So with that, I really, if we go to the next slide, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and Sampath for your leadership, and we look forward to continuing working with you.
Thank you, Dr. Fernando. That's a very impressive, very informative and impressive presentation covering the breadth and width of humanitarian activities that EDS is spearheading. We're really grateful to your leadership as well on the EDS front, and we're thankful to the EDS committee for closely collaborating with HAC. I'm sure we looking forward for this engagement. Thank you.
Likewise.
Okay, awesome. Next, we will hear from Dr. Javed from APS side, and we'll hear about some of the exciting work that's done by APS Society.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sampath. Thank you, Juliana, for inviting me to this August workshop. I'm really glad to be a part of this panel because site has always been very close to my heart. And thank you, Dr. Fernando, Dr. Jose, Dr. Ken. It'll be nice to collaborate with you all and present the work that we have been doing on part of the AP Society for site activities. Well, but the APS Society, like the mandate which site has, APS follows those mandates and basically to inspire students and practitioners for making a difference in solving crises from the world. Disaster management, monitoring, relief, dissemination of warning, healthcare monitoring, telemedicine, leveraging local chapters for membership boards, activities and networking, and interaction with local universities and institutes. So AP Society site, which was formed in 2015, we have been doing and disseminating information regarding site and inviting our members, APS members, student members, to join site activities and site groups, various site groups in their local sections. Regarding the partnership with HACK, we recently had a meeting on the 17th of March with Dr. Sampath and Dr. Ajay Poddar was there, and Dr. Ahmed Kesh, past president of APS, Dr. Chu, Dr. Mata, and I was there. And we thought of collaborating with HACK because some of the projects which would fall into the purview of other societies, but if we have HACK as an umbrella, then probably HACK would be in a much better position to identify the society under which the project would fall into. And of the funding, we pledged a funding of 25K to HACK so that we can jointly fund those projects. The reason I'm saying that because IEEE site has a mandate that a site group should be formed with conjunction of 2 or more societies. So we had a problem, like if it's only related to APS, it's very difficult to find a lot of projects related to antennas. So like EDS Society, Photonics Society, Microwave Theory and Technique Society, I always believe if we join hands, one project can fall into that category, which can be, basically covered by any of either of the societies that we form this group for. So one of the partnership tag would, benefit us, which will be on selection of some pilot projects, which will be co-funded by HAC and APS side. The society's chapters that will focus on APS technology, scaling further with the involvement of industries for large impacts, including APS memberships, retention, and, even we can engage with high school students, young professionals, women in engineering through local chapters worldwide. We request HAC to extend the call for submission of proposals for APS chapters, because we have requested our AP magazine to have a proposal, call for proposal, which will include even a write-up, which will be a call for proposal from joint group of HAC and AP Society. And this AP chapters will have the opportunity to engage local students, and the selected projects from undergraduate programs can also be targeted using HAC and site, site collaboration. Not only undergraduate projects, but we're also looking at students projects from STEM education. We know, like with my experience of working with the APS site and going to students, I found that most of the best ideas came from the grade 12 students, 10 and 12 students. Those are science groups before they join engineering programs. One of the APS site, AP Society had funded a lot of projects. This is one of the major project which was funded in 2015, and it is regarding diagnosis and monitoring of patients in rural India. We did it in rural India, and it was a conceptual project. We took IEEE to the villages of India, in the remote parts of villages in India, and 2 of the villages, and have a small video to share where, if you can see, there's a crisis of doctors, and especially for specialist doctors. So we used our electronic stethoscope to, diagnose any patient with some kind of ailment, cardiac ailment, and we sent the data using the local internet to our doctor in the city. So the reason I did this project is we wanted, and then we collaborated with World Heart Federation and NGO called Heart Friends around the world. This crisis of heart ailment, there's a huge dearth of doctors in villages, in remote parts. So we wanted to monitor or diagnose using diagnostic tools, which and the data can be sent through internet. This village had no sanitation, no proper sanitation, no connectivity, but still there was mobile internet. So we wanted to use the IoT concept, use the mobile internet, and send the data to the doctor. And this attracted a lot of attention for the villagers, because they find it so difficult to find a doctor even in the best of times. So these are the projects which when a society does a project, I want these projects to be replicated in other societies also. So handshaking is the way to move forward, because there are lots of projects done by other societies which can be replicated in other parts of the world instead of being confined to that society or that region. Then we had the school program. We invited projects and models from school students in India and Aurangabad in 2017, and there were lots of on renewable energy and step family vehicle and lorry management system that were provided by school students. That's why I said the best of ideas comes from these school students. So the action plan that we want to propose is generate some awareness on APS site, website, and AP magazine. Have some brainstorming sessions, exchange of ideas with other works that are done in other societies. Reach out to school students and motivate for STEM education, and support major and minor projects related to humanitarian activity, having periodic call for papers. And we have already committed a US dollar of 25,000 to HAC, and we'll have a call for proposal very soon. And I thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Javed. Like a very, very impressive work on the APS front. I also wanted to call out Dr. Ajay, who is part of multiple societies, but he was key in terms of initializing the efforts in APS as a site. Really great work, Dr. Javed. We look forward to collaborate with APS. And
Yes, I
thanks
would
to
like to
again,
collaborate to everyone here
right?
present here.
So that's exactly
Thank you.
what Hack is providing this year.
Right.
We are trying to bring all the societies together so we can create an impactful Avenger family, where we can take the best in class technology to solve these critical challenges. So
Oh, yes.
really, really excited. We look forward to closely engage with APS and APS leadership.
Thank you.
So with that said, now we have two more exciting presentation. We are going to hear from Dr. Ken, or we can first have Dr. Josh, where he's going to talk about MTT-S and hack collaboration, and then we will serve last but not the least the presentation from Dr. Ken for the entrepreneurship, which is very, very critical as well. So with that,
Mhm.
I know Dr. Josh, I invite you to make the presentation on hack and MTT-S collaboration. And Dr. Josh has been involved as a front runner in leading some of these efforts in the last few years, closely working with us. So very excited and looking forward to hear from you on this partnership program.
Mhm. Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks very much again for your kind invitation to participate in this panel. I would like to thank also the organizers, especially Juliana and Sampath, for their great leadership in organizing this event. So I will focus in this presentation on highlighting the main recent collaboration efforts between HAC and SITE and the Microwave Theory and Techniques Society. MTT-S MGA committee has a permanent SITE subcommittee that is being co-chaired by Professor Shivan Koul and myself. And as you can see, we have MTT-S representatives for all of the 10 IEEE regions. And our mission is to encourage and coordinate different activities, events, and projects related to site and to the field of interest of MTT-S. So very recently, in March 18, similarly to APS, as we just saw, a formal meeting took place between HAC officers and MTT-S representatives to explore the opportunities to implement pilot projects co-funded by HAC and MTT-S site and to be implemented at the society, section, and chapter levels, focused on RF and microwave technologies with direct applications to humanitarian aspects and social aspects, and with the eventual involvement of industry looking for a larger impact of these projects. And of course, at the same time, we are aiming at increasing membership and retention, MTT-S membership and retention through the development of these projects, as well as engaging students, young professionals, women in engineering, and so on. Now, I would like to highlight four site webinars that took place in October last year that were extremely outstanding, I would say. And these webinars were focused on equality, peace, harmony, and progress. And they were the outcome of a collaborative effort between MTT-S and APS. And as you can see in these slides, we really had truly outstanding speakers, such as the Dalai Lama, talking about these subjects. And here you can see the other two webinars. And also the topic of education for rural and underprivileged students was also discussed, as you can see. And in these four webinars, we had more than 20,000 viewers through Facebook and YouTube. So this is, in my opinion, an evidence of the high relevance of these topics, especially in the pandemic scenario and the post-pandemic stage that some countries are already living. Now, another important event that took place in last year, we had a talk on wireless technologies, particularly on 5G and IoT technologies applications addressing the COVID-19 pandemic. And in this talk, it was covered the application of these technologies for connected devices in hospitals, supply chains, education, public institutions, etc. This one was organized as part of Region 7 effort. And in this same line, uh, an amateur radio event took place also in Canada, consisting of a fox hunt activity for training on radio emitter identification, direction finding, and location. And this one took place in a park in Ottawa, as you can see in these photos. And this is particularly relevant because, as you might already know, amateur radio or ham radio, as it is also very well known, is one of the most robust technologies for keeping people communicated in case of disasters, natural disasters such as earthquakes and events of that nature. And this one took place also recently in September 2020. The Site Guadalajara chapter, which is part of Region 9 from Latin America, organized a very interesting webinar on developing technical skills for the local manufacturing of medical devices and artifacts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. And this one took place this January, and it was actually very interesting because it involved a very multidisciplinary approach from the technical point of view. And it was also quite well attended. And finally, I would like to briefly describe a major MTT-S site funded project that is entitled LoRaWAN Enabled Remote Solar Photovoltaic Energy Monitoring System that is being developed by Region 10 in India in particular. And here you can see some photos and snapshots of some of the main achievements of these projects, of the so many achievements that has already. This project is practically finished. The LoRaWAN transmitter is already designed and implemented and working, and as well as the monitoring system. And it essentially consisted, this project, of developing a low-cost wireless solution to monitor solar panels installed in very inaccessible places or in very small villages that don't have the infrastructure for communications, the typical infrastructure communication that is available in most metropolitan areas, including the cell phone system that even though in some places they have it, still it is a much cheaper, this technical solution, because it's based on a long range wide area network with a very low cost of operation to monitor the energy usage of these solar panels. And that's pretty much it from my side. Thanks very much for your attention, and thanks again, Sampath, for your kind invitation. And we are looking forward to continue collaborating with you in these very relevant initiatives. Thanks again.
Thank you, Dr. Josh. That was a very, very impressive and important presentation showing the gamut of activity that's happening within the MTT-S space, primarily on the humanitarian and centric and site activities. So we are super thrilled, and I know you have been piloting and working with us in the last 2 years. Again, we look forward to scale up this collaboration with the MTT-S. Really, again, thanks to you as well as to the MTT-S committee for closely partnering with HAC this year. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then we also have the most important. We have the thunder stroke or strike of our of our panel. Dr. Ken is going to talk about IEEE entrepreneurship. I'm super excited about this one because we all heard from the technology front how is important. Now it's also important to see how we could not only nurture the next generation leader but also make them to drive the innovation angle, how they can transform their ideas into products and solutions, from the entrepreneurship mindset. So with that said, I welcome Ken to provide his insights and his thoughts about how it is important for IEEE Entrepreneurship Program to partner with the HAC this year.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, everyone in front of me who talked. They're all very interesting talks. That was a perfect lead-in. If you look at this picture here, I started at Bell Labs in my career at Bell Labs in the 80s. And then after about 15 years at Bell Labs, I went off to start several companies. I founded maybe 4 companies so far, some big, some small, some products, some services. But what I found out is sort of represented in this picture. When you're working in a lab or in research, it's innovation and research. And that's lightning in a bottle. But when you try to become an entrepreneur, it's lightning in a market. And that's the key. Most people like me who were trained as engineers really didn't understand that whole aspect of lightning in a market, because that's what's going to make a company either take off and go or not. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's go to the next slide. Who we are. IEEE Entrepreneurship was founded in 2015 after a board ad hoc that said we want to do something with entrepreneurs and investors, which I was on. So we're basically about 7 years old now, 6 or 7 years old. We are about 20,000 people virtual membership. We don't have any paid membership, so we're virtual membership. We're about 20,000, roughly speaking, in 65 countries. Our demographics skewed towards the younger side, 30s, 40s, possibly. That tells you a little bit about who we are. About 23% of us, let's just say a quarter of us, are academic research startups. A quarter of us are aspiring entrepreneurs, people who want to be entrepreneurs but aren't yet. They have an idea. Another quarter, roughly speaking, 26%, are actually startups with 1 or 2 or 3 people in the company. And then about 12% are in scaling and growth. And about 7% are investors in our ecosystem. So let's move to the next slide. This is our steering committee. It is people from all over the world, regions, well represented. It's a very diverse committee. I think you'll recognize a couple people there. You'll see Samay, she's on HAC. Kartik, who was the past chair of HAC. You'll see Janati, she I think is our liaison right now to HAC. So there's a lot of people in there you should recognize. But this is our steering committee of people, and very proud of this picture because it shows a true diverse team working with good ideas. Next slide. So our mission really is the IEEE mission, except that we put the word entrepreneurial in there to foster entrepreneurial engineering and technology innovation for the benefit of humanity, because we are entrepreneurs. And the next slide, if you go there, will really tell you all about our collaboration. We believe that this is where IEEE Entrepreneurship and Humanitarian Activities meet. It's all about the SDGs, technology for the benefit of humanity. We stress that a lot. In fact, that we make that part of our motto, working on SDGs. And so that's really how we come together with Sampath's group, working on the SDGs. And it's a very important goal. It's something that everybody should be aware of and think about, because sustainable development is really important for our world if we're going to exist, right? Next slide. I'm just going to list the last one about what we do and who we are. We basically offer a lot of resources to entrepreneurs around the world. We have Founders Office Hours, which is a mentoring program. I've done a lot of them. Last year, we did about 55 mentoring sessions. We had very high ratings for them. Again, people are in all those, they're either maybe just aspiring entrepreneurs, or maybe they've started a company, or maybe they're actually in scaling and growth, but they want a mentor. And so we provide mentors, and we give them a free 30-minute call, all around the world. We've done it in all the regions. And then if they, oftentimes I'll give them an assignment based on what I think their pain point is, and then ask if they want to do another call. And we have some really great success stories out of that, and our ratings are very high. So that's one of our most popular programs. We do workshops. We're doing workshops as we speak now in Panama. They're virtual this year, but we say Panama, but it's basically all of Latin America. We have people from Chile, we have people from Colombia, we have people from Peru, I think, Ecuador. I think we have pretty much, but so it's a virtual one. Typically, these workshops are done in person for a week, very intense. We did them in Kigali, Rwanda, and Kampala, Uganda. And we'll probably keep on doing more of those next year in Africa also, and in Latin America. They basically take STEM people and teach them, you know, the basics of how to set up a company, what finances mean, what marketing means, what business models are, and all that kind of stuff. Demystifying series is a great series that we've started. They're on our website if you want to go take a look. But they're the demystify things that people are like pitching, demystifying startup funding, demystifying. We just did one on demystifying diversity, which was a great one. I enjoy doing that. We're going to have one coming up shortly on demystifying the UN SDGs. So there's a lot of great things. They're just short videos, about 30 minutes. I usually have a panel of 2 to 3 speakers that we have a good it's not a webinar, it's a conversation. And there's usually a point counterpoint. We're not selling anything here. We're really just trying to demystify something. We have courses that we're developing on the Learning Network. There's one already. We're developing 2 more this year. We also have a library of My Journey, which anybody can take a smartphone or a laptop and sort of videotape 3 minutes of my journey, why I'm here, what motivated me, you know, which is just interesting for entrepreneurs or people who are just interested in that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this on the next several slides, but we do judging at pitch competitions, IEEE stars, and that's where we really closely collaborate with HAC, with HUC on that one particular one. And then we do speakers and panels at both IEEE and non-IEEE events, and you can see some of the events here. But if you focus in the center of this picture, there's a G stick there, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. Let's go to the next slide. So our engagement really started around that. Holly asked me, I think it was in 2018, to serve as a joint liaison to the UN Major Group on Youth and Children and go to GSTIC. And so I started working with them. And I was working on behalf of both IEEE Entrepreneurship and HAC. I was serving both roles. So it was basically a liaison. That's what started our collaboration. And then we've had a liaison ever since that day from now on. And I was it for a while. Janati is it now. But basically, we have done this global pitch competition every year. GSTIC, by the way, stands for Global Science Technology Innovation Conference. It's held usually in Brussels every year in the fall. It's all about the UN SDGs. And we run a pitch competition that's global. We got the first year, I think we had like 72 videos. The second year, we had like 46 videos. And they're judged in those 3 categories, again, from, you know, basically product ideation, aspiring entrepreneurs, through startups, through scaling and growth. And then because I was involved with HAC, I got introduced to Power Africa by Nero and Smart Villages. So we started working with them, and we did some tutorials for them last year. You know, we actually did one in Nigeria with Sampath when he was there. And then we did one last year virtually. It was supposed to be held in Nairobi, and we'll do some more stuff this year. And one year we had Kartik come speak at GSTIC. And this year, Sampath and Holly and a bunch of people are organizing a session. We have signed an MOU with GSTIC. So the IEEE actually is now a strategic partner of GSTIC. So we do plenary sessions. Last year, we planned 2 plenary sessions. And this year, Sampath and HAC are planning a bunch of them. So really helpful on that spot. Just a quick look at the winners of GSTIC, and then I think I'm going to be ending. Let's go to the next slide. So this pitch challenge basically is based on technology for the benefit of humanity, which is our mission. We have people, judges from around different places, and we judge on innovation, product, the market, the diverse team, and if they have traction. Now, if you're a startup, you know, early wannabe, you don't have traction yet, so that's not so important. But basically, we judge in those product ideation categories, startups, and scaling and growth. And you can kind of see how many. This year, we're partnering not only with HAC and the UN Major Group on Youth and Children, but we're also partnering with the ITU Business Development Group. So the UN, that's the group in Geneva. They also have a huge, ecosystem. So we expect to get a lot more videos this year also. So it's a real partnership. If we go to the next slide, I think you're going to see the winners from last year. This was all virtual. We didn't get to actually meet up in Brussels. We usually bring the winners to Brussels. They come on stage and they present. But last year we couldn't do that. So last year, product innovation was somebody from Colombia. And then there's another person from Nigeria. Those were the two winners. We did not have anybody in scaling and growth last year. And the year before, which was, next slide, this was the one that won the year before. Pasang from Bhutan, he was the product innovation person. Rex Tan was the startup person, and Ben Cat was the actual scaling and growth. And he was also in the Appel's Empower Billion Lives. So it gives you some idea of the different types of winners that we get and how this works. And this is definitely a joint between HAC and us, IEEE. And I think that's my last slide. Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much for this time.
Awesome. And I love your quote, Ken. That's exactly the spirit of this panel. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
Our spirit here has the right trade-off, so we can drive the right level of technological innovation. Also, at the same time, solve these challenges. So it's well said, in your presentation. And thanks a lot. I mean, as you rightly said, we are super excited from Hack to foster and strengthen this partnership entrepreneurship program, and really like rolling out some joint programs to benefit students and young professionals is going to be key this year. And I can't wait to make the joint program announcements later this summer. So thank you everyone. So with that said, again I would like to basically like conclude before we open the floor for Q&A here. Really what we saw today is about like each of the society and the important programs like entrepreneurship programs. Everybody's seeing the value of HAC, right? How we are all coming together, to leverage not only the best in class technology, but also to empower our volunteer. This is your story, right? Empower you all at the grassroots level. So you will have more opportunity and have a positive experience to the humanitarian activities programs at the grassroots level. So you can give it back and, contribute towards the greater purpose of serving humanity through technological innovation. So with that said, I would like to personally thank Dr. Fernando, Dr. Javed, Dr. Ken, Dr. Josh, and most importantly as well, Dr. Ajay Padur, who is not here today, for coming together and sharing their experience and their plan of record, the roadmaps for the current year. So we really are very excited, and one call for action. We are all as a team. We are requesting here to all the society members there. Site membership cost you nothing. So register for that. If you don't, if you have not put up a proposal, think about applying for project funding. And we are also going to roll out some joint educational programs, so you could also get benefited in terms of understanding the best practices in designing and delivering the sustainable development programs. So definitely, I hope you are able to participate on those. So with that said, huge thanks to Juliana, Holly, Betsy, the entire HAC staff team, being a huge pillar of support for us. And thanks to every single site member and society member who have a passion and you are participating towards the humanitarian activities and the joint society and HAC programs this year. We need more of you. So you are all at the grassroots level of our ambassador. So we really thank you for your gift of time and talent for HAC programs. So keep doing this marvelous thing. With that said, from all of us, it's a happy site day, for you all. So with that said, I'm going to open the floor for Q&A.
Yeah, Sampath, so before we go there, I really want to thank you for putting this session together, because just out of listening to the presentations of the various members here, and just to go with the quote that Ken had, really we need to get together. I can think of many projects that we can really collaborate right off the bat. We need, we're making, with the advent of 5G, we can put antennas right on the chips. So we really look for collaborations there with Jose and the MTT. Basically, the remote photovoltaic energy monitoring system, we could actually put it into a chip, so you don't have all those discrete components, and make them far less inexpensive. We have a network of universities where we have fabrication facilities. We're right now putting sensors almost for free to monitor pH and water quality. And we're also sponsoring different groups to tape out their designs to integrate them, put them on a chip, and send them out. So these are some ideas that we can, right off the bat, start collaborating, and then we definitely can use Ken's guidance on how to get the students, being able to productize. And so I think this is a tremendously fruitful session for myself. Thank you so much for hosting it. So I just wanted to invite them all directly, and I'm sure we'll get in touch offline to follow up on these ideas. So thank you once again.
Absolutely, Dr. Fernando. That's exactly the plan of Record Water. So essentially, you took a homework and you also defined the agenda for the upcoming meeting with Dr. Ajay, with all of you there. So this is exactly what we would like to do: bring together all the societies, and HAC wants to provide the ecosystem where we could collaborate, identify the best in technology, and also come back with integrated technological stack that can help us to provide low cost solutions and empower more people and solve these critical challenges. So absolutely. So with that said, we have about another 7 to 8 minutes. So again, thanks to all the participants for joining us. So the floor is yours. So if you have a question, please type in your question in the Q&A box. So one thing, while we are waiting for the questions from the audience, I would like to probably for all the panelists, I would like to start a question here. So HAC is now spearheading this, make the IEEE as a world leader in sustainable development space. So in your view, I mean, you all have presented and shown us how it's important, but I wanted to get your opinion, how important, for every programs in IEEE to leverage HAC as a mechanism to provide this kind of complementary avenues, for our members. What do you think about that? Anyone in the panelists can answer on that. So it's an open question.
May I make a comment on that,
Sure,
Sampat?
please.
Yes. Well, I think it is pretty clear that most of the people that is interested in hack and site perspective are young people, right? Most of the members are very young, and that's a very good opportunity for the technical societies. There is some noise that perhaps, okay, perfect. Yeah, now it's over. So I think this is a very important opportunity for technical societies to reach more people and to enlarge the impact of the technical society by itself, to increase membership, etc. Because I think once the technical society approaches relevant problems of the society in general and of humanity, I think it will be much more attractive for young people to get involved in those fields. Some of them, for instance, in my case, in the from the perspective of RF and microwave engineering, that particular subject is not that popular in Latin America, because many universities then they don't even have a single course on microwave engineering, for instance. They have at the most, let's say, an electromagnetics theory course or things like that. So it's a tough area. However, if they see applications that are being developed in the local community that are having an impact, and they are using that kind of technologies, I think it's a very important attraction for them to get involved in that field. And it's as you just mentioned at the beginning, it's a win-win situation, right? Because we are addressing the problem, we are increasing the technical society membership, we are enriching the technical field, and so on. So I think that that's a very important opportunity for us in that sense.
Amazing answer. Thank you.
So I'd just like to add a point. Like all societies, we have an education, vice chair, but each of them works independently. We really need to integrate and be able to take projects across the boundaries of our societies. We've actually extended the EDS-ETC, by which we send the snap circuits to teach children about electricity, and really want to expand it to any other society. We fund summer schools, for instance, where it's more EDS intensive for design and validation of designs, but yet we have sections on RF, microwave. RF design nowadays is one of the hot areas with the advent of 5G and RF reliability. So there's a lot of content that's being created in those areas. So I think if we can share across the boundaries of our societies, it will also enhance the opportunity for all of us.
Amazing. Thank you, Fernando.
Yes, I would like to second that. And that's what I've been saying, like we have been working independently, but if we can integrate, there are lots more advantage and lots of, students would benefit a lot. And lots of more projects would come into our handing, could be funded.
Great comment, Javed. Ken, you want to add anything more?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone said so far. One of the things that I think it drives, and you're right, young people do really want to make the world a better place. No doubt about it. And the SDGs really do make people. When we go to do a workshop in like Africa or even in Latin America, we ask them what ideas they want to work on, and they're almost always very relevant to that. They're either about getting rid of waste, getting clean water, getting energy. It's all those types of topics. It's not about the next Silicon Valley startup. That's not what it's about, right? Or being a unicorn. It's really about solving local, regional needs. That's the driving force for most of this stuff that we're working on. And so, I think it does. And if you take a problem, it has to be cross technologies, right? There isn't very many solutions anymore that exist in just one technology. They work. I look at IoT. It has a whole bunch of stuff. It has sensors. It has RF. It has what. It has software behind it. So you do actually have to work across many fields to be able to bring a solution to the market. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. Great comment, Ken. Thanks a lot. So
can I make another comment
sure,
in the same line of the importance of approaching these opportunities from a multidisciplinary perspective, right? I think it's very important. In my opinion, that's the most important, I would say, difficulty for implementing site and hack projects addressing problems, social problems, because the problems usually require a multidisciplinary approach. And sometimes, for instance, when you talk with colleagues that work in the area, for instance, of RF and microwaves, they always think, okay, but that project has a very very small component of our technical field. It has a lot of communications, computing, electronic circuit design, as Fernando mentioned, etc. And even more than that, because you have to deal many times with social groups, with political entities, with government, etc. So I think a good strategy to make progress in these lines would be try to keep as multidisciplinary as possible the approaches, right, to fully address the problems, the community problems.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks a lot for that valuable input. So with that said, we are right on time, but there's one question, so I wanted to make sure we address that question. So the question here is from Gloria. How is student participation recruited? Is it through specific site groups, IEEE chapters? Are you partnering with existing university programs and something else? So I'll take the first stab at that, and then probably we can like open the floor for other panelists to comment on. So today, like I mean, 75% of site membership is student members. Actually, I would say student and graduate student members. Actually, so today, if you're an IEEE member, we create visibility to them through the various programs, to HACN site, and of course, students are very excited because these programs provide a out of classroom experience for them, right? Because in classroom you learn the skills, but where do you apply that in a real world situation, right? That's where I think a hack and site programs comes into action. It helps the students not only to gain your or advance your technical skills, but also apply those skills to a real world problem, and also help you to prepare to be industry ready. For example, you may be able to learn the multi-stakeholder engagement, design a program from end to end, and improve on your communication skills and so forth. So the student participation today comes out directly from our funding program, and we create awareness through our collaborative programs where we conduct workshops, webinars directly. And in terms of partnership, as you can see here, every single society whom we are partnering with, every single program whom we are partnering with, we are focusing to roll out student-centric initiative. That could be hackathons, or it could be joint programs funding primarily towards students and young professionals. That's another way of creating visibility, and also attracting engagement. And particularly this year, as I called out, apart from the partnership with regions and societies, we also are directly partnering with MGA entities like Student Activity Committee, Young Professionals, WIE, right? So there is a lot more opportunity today for students to get early visibility into some of these programs, and also opportunities for them to participate and engage. So I would say, I wish I'm a student right now, because there's a lot more opportunity where you could participate. Ken touched upon G-Stick, competition. That's really cool, right? Think about the possibility. You are pitching in an idea, and then both IEEE and UN are global entity. You are getting honored. And all the partners here, society leaders here spoke about what they are doing at the society front, right? That's even more important, right? So in a nutshell, this is the right, I would say, the perfect time for students to leverage these opportunities, because you are the next generation world leaders for us, and you are building a better future through hack and society and the IEEE programs, what we spoke about today. Anybody else on the panel want to comment on it? Any additional comments? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ken.
Yep. So again, let's plan a follow up to follow up on these items and
absolutely
measures. So thank you so much for organizing this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again,
yeah, can we connect?
Yeah. Yes, Javed.
Panelists. Yes.
Absolutely, Javed. Dr. Ajay will be convening on a call. As you all know, you all are going to be part of the working group under HAC partnership. Right. So we look forward to have an even more productive conversation and some big announcements this summer. So let's look forward for that conversation. But again, thanks to all the audience joining us today from globally from different parts of the world. On behalf of the panelists and on the staff team and HAC committee and the site steering committee, I would like to thank you all for the amazing work what you all doing, as well as we want you all to be safe and healthy given the pandemic situation. So that's even more far more important to us. So write to us, if there are opportunities that we could help you all more, because all of us here in the panel today, our goal is to serve you by giving you more opportunities to build a better tomorrow for the marginalized community. So with that spirit, thank you all again for joining this amazing panel today and celebrating the spirit of site volunteerism, on an important milestone of a 10th year anniversary, for site. So with that said, we do have a site social today at 2 p.m. ET, New York time. So feel free to join there. We would love to interact with you all directly there. Okay. Thank you all again, and we close with the panel right now. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Very nice talking to all of you. Thanks.
Nice talking to you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Sampath.
Thank you.